Who was Peleg, generation 15? Let's jump into the periodic table of history and geography. So what we have here is 6,000 years of history, and you can see the 4000 BC all the way to 2000 AD. That's on the y-axis. I'm over here in the United States. You may be in Japan, or the Middle East, or Greece, or Rome. I would love to know where you're watching from, so wherever you're at, just write that into the comment section. We're going to use our time machine and go back in time to the time of Peleg, which is about right here. Let's zoom up and we can see if we can find Peleg. I just painted Peleg as yellow so we could see him just a little bit better. I'm also going to put an arrow at the start of his life and the ending of his life. So now we can see Peleg right here. These are the non-calibrated dates. We get these directly out of Genesis and then connect them into the time of the building of the Temple of Solomon. And what I've come up with is 2359 to 2120 BC. In Genesis 10:24, the text states, "And Arphaxad begot Selah, and Selah begat Eber. And unto Eber were born 2 sons. The name of one was Peleg, for in his days was the earth divided, and his brother's name was Joktan." We can see where the people are here on the map. And we see Arphaxad. This is a well-known site that is known to be the land where Arphaxad dwelt. Arphaxad has Selah, 13th generation, and Eber in the 14th generation, and Peleg in the 15th generation. Now, most of the earth's people are initially at the Tower of Babel. Nimrod is known to have started some cities down here. And in the days after the flood, we remember that the mountains of Ararat are where the ark rested. Then we know that Noah, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, all their families are exploring down here, and they come to the land of Shinar, which is this area. It's in present-day Iraq, just above the Persian Gulf. So what was Noah doing at that time? Why did Nimrod get a leadership hold? Did the people move out peaceably or forcefully? Well, what do you think? I'd love to hear your thoughts on this. Be sure to write your thoughts in the comment section. Here we see the timeline genealogy: Arphaxad, Selah, Eber, and Peleg. In Genesis 11:16, we read, "And Eber lived 34 years and begat Peleg. And Eber lived after he begat Peleg 430 years and begat sons and daughters. And Peleg lived 30 years and begat Reu. And Peleg lived after he begat Reu 209 years and begat sons and daughters." Now the named sons are the ones who got allotments of territories, but always keep in mind the phrase begot sons and daughters. The population is exploding, and there are many more people on the earth than the names listed in Genesis. Now in the book of Sothis we read, "The dispersion took place in the 34th year of the rule of Arphaxad and the 5th year of Peleg." If this text is valid, the time of the dispersion is 5 years after Peleg was born. That would be 2354 BC. In 1 Chronicles 1 and Luke 3, we have renderings of Peleg, and Luke traces Peleg to Jesus. So this should get our attention for importance. There's also another great importance about Peleg. There are a couple ideas about this time. One idea is the earth continents divided. Another is that Noah distributed the land to the greatest patriarchs. Now the continents dividing at the time of Peleg is out of synchronization with the Hebrew chronology. We can look at Psalms 104. "The waters stood above the mountains. At thy rebuke they fled. At the voice of thy thunder they hasted away. They go up by the mountains. They go down by the valleys unto the place which thou hast founded for them. Thou hast set a bound that they may not pass over, that they turn not again to cover the earth." In my belief system, catastrophic Pangea, taught by Dr. Kurt Weiss, and the hydroplate theory, taught by Dr. Walt Brown, happened at the time of the flood. And the time of Peleg is past the time of the continents breaking up. In the time of Peleg and the Tower of Babel are contemporary events, and the ancient texts of Peleg concern the dividing up of people to their allotments of geographic areas. When we look on our time axis, and we have the flood happening right over here just before Arphaxad. Remember, Arphaxad was born 2 years after the flood. We have the dispersion of the nations just 5 years after Peleg is born, just about right here. And you can see what's going on in the world. If you go over to the Sumerian kings list, you can see that the cities are juggling power back and forth all across Uruk, Owan. All the cities are just going back and forth with power. Now Noah is alive until about right here. So Noah lives through the era of the dispersion of nations. There's a story of Noah in the book of Jubilees, chapter 8, whereby Noah randomly divided up the land among Shem, Ham, and Japheth. It goes like this: "And he called his sons, and they drew nigh to him, they and their children, and he divided the earth into the lots, which the 3 sons were to take in possession. And they reached forth their hands, and took the writing out of the bosom of Noah their father." The rest of the chapter has the result of the division of land to the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. So Jubilees chapter 9 continues. "And thus the sons of Noah divided unto their sons in the presence of Noah their father, and he bound them all by an oath, imprecating a curse on every one that sought to seize the portion which had not fallen to him by his lot. And they all said, So be it, for themselves and their sons forever throughout their generations, till the day of judgment, on which Yahweh Almighty shall judge them with a sword, and with fire, and all the unclean wickedness of their errors, wherewith they have filled the earth with transgression and uncleanness and fornication and sin." We can zoom out and get a snapshot of where everyone ended up, but that's a little ways after the Tower of Babel, a little ways after the dispersion. Now the Assyrian word that means to divide something up by lot is pelgu. The same verb in Akkadian is peleku. At the junction of the Chebar River and Euphrates River, there is an archaeological site called Felgu. This is the place of Peleg. It is a strategic river junction that has the same strategy to what all the Shemites are doing. We can see the Elams over here on these river systems that are near Persia. Arphaxad is covering these river systems. This happens to be one of the tributaries to the Tigris. Then Asher has the headwater of the Tigris. If you go a little farther over, we have Aram, who's another brother of Arphaxad, well, at one of the most strategic points of the Euphrates. And then Peleg is right here at a tributary system that goes into the Euphrates. If we're starting with the family of Arphaxad, we can see that there's a mountain range back here. So if you were exploring this, you could see that as you climbed along the mountains, on the edge of the plain, you could see your relatives. Asher is over here. You could come up to the headwaters of the Tigris, explore just a little bit farther, and you come up to another tributary system. This may have been one of the places where Peleg had traveled, and we can see that Peleg ended up here on the Euphrates. And if you look down south, you can see where the Tower of Babel is and where Nimrod would have been. The site of Peleg is known to archaeology, and now you and I know where it is. So Peleg went west, and Joktan went east. Now when we come back to our time axis, it wasn't just the land boundaries that got divided, but genetic machinery that allows us long lives got divided once again. Notice the drop in longevity from Eber to Peleg. 464 years to 239 years. So Peleg's lifespan is 51.5% of Eber. So it seems we're not evolving, but we are de-evolving. And it is observable to watch a decrease in longevity. So just think of the increase in autism and other diseases that we observe. The evolutionists tell us that we are getting better and better, but what we observe, or what we have science for, is that we are degrading. I must switch this fact from pessimism to optimism. Just be encouraged and make the most of your life while you have it, because you have the greatest chance to make a difference today. Now, there is a third idea of Peleg, and it's that of the ice connecting the continents melting. Now, in my belief system, the flood probably caused the first ice age, and Peleg dies about 2120 BC. There's a Roman book called Metamorphosis that mentions the results of some event, an ice age or flood, sometime after 2000 BC, but before the Trojan War, about 1100 BC. The citation is found in Metamorphosis, written 8 AD, and it goes like this. The streams of Hypanis are sweet no more, but brackish lose the taste they had before. Antissa, Pharos, Tyre, and seas were pent, once isles, but now increase the continent. While the Leucadian coast, mainland before, by rushing seas is severed from the shore. Many of the islands that they're talking about are right here around Turkey. Now the text is pretty fabulous, because you mean there were islands around Turkey known as islands, but the Mediterranean sea level went down to expose the islands as beaches of Turkey. And then there was another change, and the beaches of Turkey became islands again. So we've got to think about this. The evolutionists never taught me about this event. This event is either a flood or an ice age, and we have a likely Black Sea flood and a likely Mediterranean Sea flood, and also a likely ice age event. If these are the ice age catastrophes, they happened recently when people documented them not 2.4 million years ago. So this is yet another reason I can't accept the religion of evolutionism. I've not found anything in real science to convince me of the religion of evolutionism. I can only find more and more reasons to be convinced of special creation. Well, it's fun to use our time machine and zoom into this time era when the beginning of the nations are appearing, and we can see that everyone's right here in the Fertile Crescent right at first before the dispersion, and everybody has this history that relates us back to the time of Peleg, when the geography of the land was allotted to the different patriarchs. It all happened in this time, and that event is found in many ancient histories. So this time would have been exciting and fabulous to live in. And it's exciting to me to see how everyone distributed all around the earth. Well, do you have any thoughts on the matter? Just leave them in the comments section. Now we perceive how history is woven together. Thanks for watching. It's always free to subscribe, thumbs up, share, and comment. And I will see you in the next video. Have a great week.